I adjusted my bridesmaid dress while my sister Emma explained to her new in-laws what I did for a living. That's my little sister Maya. She's our family tech support, fixes computers, installs programs, that sort of thing. Very handy to have around. The wedding reception was in full swing at the Fairmont Grand Del Mar. 300 guests, a live orchestra, and enough flowers to stock a boutique. Emma had spared no expense for her big day. Her husband Chase came from old money, and the Parker family had made sure everyone knew it. How quaint, Chase's mother Victoria said with a tight smile. Technical work. Is that stable? Oh, Maya doesn't have a real job, Emma laughed, sipping her champagne. She does freelance computer stuff. We keep telling her to apply somewhere legitimate, but she's stubborn. I smiled politely and checked my phone. The product announcement was scheduled for 8 p.m., 40 minutes from now. Everything was ready. Emma's the successful one, Mom added proudly from across the table. Marketing director at Pressman and Associates. $130,000 a year plus bonuses. That's wonderful, Victoria said approvingly. Real career, real stability. Not like these young people chasing internet dreams. Emma beamed. She'd been the golden child our entire lives. Popular, conventionally successful, the daughter who'd done everything right. Meanwhile, I was the weird younger sister who'd dropped out of Stanford to start a company in a garage. That had been 8 years ago. Maya tried college, Dad explained to the Parker family. Stanford, actually. But she dropped out after 2 years. Said she had some kind of business idea. We were devastated. Still are, Mom added. All that tuition wasted. And for what? So she could fix computers from home. What they didn't know, what they'd never bothered to ask about, was that I'd founded Quantum Neural Systems 8 years ago with 2 MIT dropouts. We'd built artificial intelligence software that revolutionized machine learning and natural language processing. Our technology powered voice assistants, autonomous vehicles, medical diagnostics, and financial trading systems. Last year, QNS generated $1.8 billion in revenue. We had 2,400 employees across 15 countries. Our AI models were licensed by 47 of the Fortune 100 companies. And 6 weeks ago, Apple had integrated QNS technology into every device in their ecosystem. The announcement was tonight at 8 p.m. during their special event stream. My personal stake in QNS was 51%. Current valuation, $32 billion. My net worth, $16.3 billion. But sure, I fix computers for a living. The important thing, Chase's father Robert said, is that Emma has found stability with our son. Chase is a VP at Parker Holdings. They'll have a good life together. Unlike Maya, Emma said with sisterly concern. We worry about her constantly. 30 years old, still renting, no husband, no career advancement. It's like she's stuck in perpetual adolescence. The rented apartment was a 5,200 square foot penthouse in Palo Alto that I owned outright, along with the building. I also had houses in Aspen and Lake Tahoe. But Emma had never visited, never asked for my address, never shown interest in the details of my life. Well, maybe she'll figure it out eventually, Victoria said with forced optimism. Some people are just late bloomers. I was about to respond when I noticed movement near the entrance. A small commotion as security checked credentials. Then I saw him, Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, entering with 3 senior executives I recognized from our partnership negotiations. He was early. The announcement wasn't for another 35 minutes. Oh my God, someone at a nearby table whispered loudly. Is that Tim Cook? Heads turned. Conversations stopped. 300 people suddenly noticed that one of the most powerful CEOs in the world had just walked into Emma's wedding reception. Why would Tim Cook be here? Chase asked, confused. Tim scanned the room, spotted me, and headed directly toward our table. Emma's face lit up with excitement. She probably thought he was some friend of the Parker family, another sign of their wealth and connections. Ms. Zhao, Tim said warmly as he reached me. I apologize for crashing the celebration. But I wanted to speak with you before the announcement goes live. Do you have a moment? Every person at the table was staring with their mouths open. Of course, I said, standing. Everyone, this is Tim Cook, CEO of Apple. Tim, this is my family. Wonderful to meet you all, Tim said politely, then turned back to me. The engineering team finalized the integration this morning. It's extraordinary. Your AI is processing 200 million queries per day across our device ecosystem. Response accuracy is 99.7%. The user feedback has been phenomenal. That's great to hear, I said, genuinely pleased. I wanted to thank you personally before the announcement. Quantum Neural Systems technology is the most sophisticated AI we've ever integrated. This partnership is going to define the next decade of computing. Emma's champagne glass was frozen halfway to her lips. The what? Dad's voice was weak. Quantum Neural Systems, Tim repeated. The AI company Maya founded. We've been working on this integration for 18 months. Tonight at 8, we're announcing that QNS technology now powers Siri, our autonomous vehicle systems, health diagnostics, and predictive text across all Apple devices. Maya founded. Mom couldn't finish the sentence. 8 years ago, Tim confirmed. Right after she left Stanford. Wise decision, by the way. If she'd stayed in school, she would have missed the AI revolution. Instead, she led it. He pulled out his phone and showed them the announcement preview. See this. Apple and Quantum Neural Systems. Redefining artificial intelligence. Your sister's company is the reason our stock is up 12% today. Analysts are calling it the most significant tech partnership of the decade. Chase had gone pale. How big is her company? Current valuation is $32 billion, said Laura Henderson, Apple's chief technology officer, stepping forward. QNS serves 47 Fortune 100 companies. Their AI models process approximately 8 billion data points daily. Maya's technology is embedded in systems that affect over 2 billion people worldwide. 2 billion, Robert whispered. The beautiful thing, Tim continued, is that this partnership gives QNS access to Apple's ecosystem while giving us access to the most advanced AI technology on the planet. It's genuinely transformative. Maya, you've built something remarkable. Thank you, I said. The team did incredible work. Speaking of which, Laura interjected, the engineers wanted me to tell you they're ready for your approval on the final demo. Can you review it before we go live? Of course. I picked up my clutch. Tim, shall we find somewhere quiet? Actually, Tim said, looking around at the reception venue, do you mind if we use the announcement as part of the evening's entertainment? We could stream it here. These are your family and friends. Seems fitting they should see it live. Emma looked like she might faint. I think that would be fine, I said. Tim nodded to one of his assistants, who immediately began coordinating with the venue's AV team. Within minutes, they'd connected a massive screen to Apple's event stream. Ladies and gentlemen, the wedding planner announced uncertainly, we have a special presentation courtesy of Apple. The lights dimmed. The Apple logo appeared on the screen. And then the announcement began. Today we're thrilled to announce a partnership that will change how people interact with technology. Tim's voice boomed through the speakers as the pre-recorded presentation played. Quantum Neural Systems, founded by Maya Zhao, has created artificial intelligence that thinks, learns, and adapts like the human brain. The video showed QNS technology in action. Siri understanding complex questions, cars navigating autonomously, doctors using AI to diagnose diseases with unprecedented accuracy. Maya left Stanford 8 years ago with a vision: to create AI that could genuinely understand human needs. Today that vision powers millions of devices. Tomorrow it will power billions. Cut to footage of our QNS headquarters in Palo Alto. 2,000 employees working in a state-of-the-art facility. Research labs. Server farms. The infrastructure of a global technology empire. Quantum Neural Systems employs 2,400 people across 15 countries. Last year they generated $1.8 billion in revenue. Their technology is licensed by 47 Fortune 100 companies. And now it's integrated into every Apple device. Emma's champagne glass slipped from her hand and shattered on the floor. Nobody noticed. Everyone was staring at the screen. We're proud to partner with Maya Zhao and Quantum Neural Systems. This is the future of artificial intelligence. This is the future of computing. This is how technology becomes truly intelligent. The video ended with the QNS and Apple logos side by side. Redefining intelligence. Together. The lights came back up. 300 wedding guests sat in stunned silence. Then someone started clapping. Then another. Within seconds the entire room was applauding. Not for Emma's wedding but for the announcement they'd just witnessed. Tim turned to Emma and Chase with a gracious smile. Congratulations on your marriage. And thank you for sharing this evening with us. Maya, shall we discuss the final details? Of course. We walked toward a private room off the main reception area. Behind me I could hear the chaos erupting. Did that just say $1.8 billion in revenue? She owns 51%. That means $16 billion. Maya Zhao is worth $16 billion. But Emma said she fixes computers. In the private room, Tim, Laura, and I spent 20 minutes reviewing final technical details. The integration was flawless. The announcement would go live globally at 8 p.m. Stock markets were already reacting. This is going to be huge for both companies, Laura said. QNS stock is going to soar. You should prepare for the attention, Maya. I'm prepared. Good. Because by tomorrow morning, you're going to be one of the most recognized names in technology. Tim stood and shook my hand. Congratulations. You've earned every bit of this success. They left through a side exit, avoiding the reception chaos. I took a deep breath and walked back to the main room. Emma was at our family table, surrounded by relatives all talking frantically. Mom was crying. Dad looked like he'd aged 10 years. Chase and his parents seemed to be in shock. Maya. Emma rushed toward me, her wedding dress billowing. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell any of us? I tried. Multiple times over 8 years. No, you didn't. You never said you built a company. You never said you were working with Apple. 6 years ago I invited you to QNS's Series B funding announcement. We'd raised $200 million. You said you were too busy with work to attend a computer party. Emma's face crumpled. 4 years ago I was on the cover of Forbes 30 Under 30 list. I sent you the magazine. You never mentioned it. 3 years ago I keynoted at the World Economic Forum in Davos. I called to tell you about it. You said, "That's nice," and changed the subject to your promotion. We didn't know it was important. Mom protested. You didn't ask. There's a difference. You decided I was a failure who fixed computers and nothing I said would change your minds. But $16 billion? Dad's voice was hoarse. You're worth $16 billion and you never told us? I told you I founded a company. You told me I wasted my Stanford tuition. I told you I had clients. You told me to get a real job. I told you I was doing well. You introduced me to people as your tech support. I looked at Emma, who was crying now, mascara running down her face. This is your wedding day. This should be about you and Chase. Instead, it's become about the fact that you've spent 8 years dismissing my entire life's work as fixing computers. Maya, I'm sorry, Emma whispered. I didn't understand. I didn't know. You didn't want to know. You needed me to be the failure so you could be the success. You needed me to be less than you so you could feel superior about your marketing director job and your $130,000 salary. Chase found his voice. Emma talks about you all the time. He loves you. She loves the version of me that makes her feel successful by comparison. She doesn't love the actual me. Because she never bothered to learn who I actually am. Victoria stepped forward hesitantly. Maya, surely you understand Emma was just simplifying for people who might not understand technology? No. He was dismissing me. There's a difference. Tech support isn't a simplification. It's a deliberate minimization of 8 years of building something that changed the world. I picked up my clutch. Where are you going? Mom asked desperately. Maya, we need to talk about this. We need to. You need to celebrate Emma's wedding. That's why we're all here. Congratulations again, Emma and Chase. I hope you'll be very happy together. I walked toward the exit. Maya, please. Emma's voice cracked. Don't leave like this. This is my wedding. I turned back one final time. Yes, it's your wedding. And you chose to spend it explaining to your in-laws how your little sister just fixes computers. You made that choice. Now live with it. The news coverage the next morning was overwhelming. Apple and QNS partnership reshapes AI industry. Maya Zhao, the billionaire nobody knew. Stanford dropout builds $32 billion empire. By noon, I'd received interview requests from every major publication. By evening, my Wikipedia page had been updated with my net worth and accomplishments. Forbes immediately moved me up their billionaire rankings. And my phone exploded with messages from family. 17 missed calls from Emma. 43 texts from mom. An email from dad with the subject line, "Please forgive us." I read Emma's final text. "I ruined my own wedding by being too blind to see my sister's success. I don't expect forgiveness. I just want you to know I see you now. I see everything I missed. And I'm sorry." I archived it without responding. 3 weeks later, QNS announced a partnership with Tesla. Then Google. Then Microsoft. The domino effect from the Apple integration was exactly what we'd predicted. Within 2 months, QNS technology was embedded in systems affecting 4 billion people worldwide. Emma tried calling every Sunday for 12 weeks. I never answered. Mom showed up at QNS headquarters twice. Security turned her away both times. Dad sent letters. I returned them unopened. 6 months after the wedding, Forbes published a feature story, Maya Zhao, the billionaire her sister called tech support. The article detailed everything: the dismissal, the wedding announcement, the Tim Cook moment. It went viral within hours. Emma called one final time after the article published. Left a voicemail. I read the Forbes piece. Everyone I know read it. Everyone at my company read it. Chase's family read it. "Maya, I understand why you won't talk to me. I destroyed our relationship because I couldn't see past my own ego. I needed you to fail so I could succeed. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." I saved the voicemail but never responded. Because some apologies can't fix what's broken. Some relationships shatter so completely that the pieces cut if you try to put them back together. Emma had spent 8 years making sure everyone knew I was less successful than her. 8 years of introducing me as tech support, of dismissing my work, of explaining to people that I'd wasted my potential. She'd gotten her wish. Everyone knew the truth about my success. They also knew the truth about her blindness. A year after the wedding, QNS went public. Opening valuation, $58 billion. My stake, $29.6 billion. I bought a compound in Malibu for $85 million. Donated $500 million to Stanford's AI Research Center. Made the cover of Time magazine as the most influential person in artificial intelligence. And I never spoke to my sister again. Some people asked if I was being too harsh. The family should forgive. If holding a grudge was worth more than reconciliation. But they didn't understand. I wasn't holding a grudge. I was simply done being someone's measure of failure. Done being dismissed. Done being minimized. Emma had chosen who she wanted me to be, her less successful little sister who fixed computers. I'd chosen who I actually was, a founder who changed the world. We both had to live with those choices. I just happened to be living with mine as one of the most powerful people in technology. While she lived with the knowledge that she'd introduced a $16 billion CEO as tech support at her wedding. In front of Tim Cook. Some moments define relationships forever. That was ours. And there was no coming back from it.